children, welcome to English Winglish with Kashish. Today we are doing a chapter about what? About Kashmir. Yes, what is Kashmir called? It's the land of lilies. Have you all been to Kashmir? It's very, very beautiful. It's also called the Venice of India. So let's find out why has it got so many beautiful names and what is so special about Kashmir. Now tell me, which is your favorite place to go to? Have you been on holiday? Not recently, yes, I know you all haven't gone anywhere, but which is your favorite place to go for a holiday? So let's read about Kashmir. Kashmir, the Garden of India. It's also called the Garden of India. Why? Because of the beautiful flowers that are there. It is the third unit of your book and the page number is 21. Let's open the book and start reading with me. So this is a pre-reading activity which is there. I'm going to read it quick. Now this is a conversation between two friends. So Govind says, "Hello friends, look there. The secretary of our eco club has been filling newspaper clipping." Mary says, "Hello Raghu, what does that paper cutting contain?" Rahim says, "Can you recall a few months ago we had discussed UNESCO's heritage tag to 39 states of the Western Ghats?" And Mary says, "Sure, there was a lot of opposition to this tag. Certain state governments, NGOs and even residents of the 39 states opposed to the heritage tag." Govind says, "Forget those oppositions. Now it is official. Our parliament has accepted Dr. Kasturi Rangan committee report. Out of 1,64,000 square kilometers of the Western Ghats, around 60,000 square kilometers of sensitive zone has been declared as protected zone." Rahim says, "Oh, it is a good decision. Western Ghats have very rare animal species and beautiful nature." Govind says, "There is a need to protect the flora. Flora is flowers and fauna is the gardens of the Western Ghats. If it is not protected, we will have to go to Switzerland to see what a forest is." Mary says, Okay. Anyway, today madam is doing the lesson about beautiful Kashmir." Rahim says, "Yes, Kashmir is famous for its beautiful and natural scenery and varieties of flora and fauna throughout the world." So Mary says, "Kashmir boasts some of the beautiful flowering meadows and snow-capped peaks. With abundance of natural beauty, Valley has earned the nickname the Switzerland of the East." Govind says, "Come, let us learn more about it." Okay, so this is a class scene where the kids are talking to each other and they're going to learn more about Kashmir. So we already learned that Kashmir is the Garden of India, isn't it? Now we also learned that Kashmir is also known as the Switzerland of the East. Yes, it's so beautiful. So children, we have to protect our beauty. Whenever you go to any tourist place, don't dirty it with trash, don't pluck flowers, don't throw garbage here and there. Learn to preserve nature, learn to take care of it. Otherwise, as these kids are saying, we will have to go to Switzerland actually to see beautiful sceneries. We have our Switzerland with us in our heart. So let's protect it, okay? Moving on, let's start the chapter. Point 1. Kashmir is a garden of beauty surrounded by a wall of snow-capped mountains. We enter the Valley of Kashmir at Baramulla. Valley is low area enclosed by the hills. So what do you feel? What do you think when you think of Kashmir? Everything is snow-capped, isn't it? Snow-clad mountains, beautiful they all look. See, just like this. It's a garden of beauty which is surrounded by wall of snow-capped mountains. It is surrounded by snow-capped mountains. We enter the Valley of Kashmir at Baramulla. Baramulla is first, whenever you go to Kashmir, you first enter Baramulla. That's in the Valley of Kashmir. That means the low area which is enclosed by hills. From the bridge over the river Jhelum, Jhelum is the main river running through the entire Kashmir. We can look north and see the peak Nanga Parvat standing like a huge sentinel pointing to the sky. See, it's like a guard. The Nanga Parvat stands like a huge guard pointing to the sky. Okay, that's what Nanga Parvat is. So what all have we learnt? So we have already learnt about river Jhelum, Nanga Parvat which guards the entire Kashmir, and Baramulla, where we land first and then we go up. Okay? At Baramulla, we board the houseboat. What do you do when you go to Baramulla? This is a houseboat. It looks like a house on a boat. That's why it's called houseboat, which is to be our dwelling for the next few months. In this boat only, you're going to roam around the entire Kashmir. Yes, so they are going to live here for the next few months. We are then towed. What do you mean by towed? Drawn by. You tow something, you pick something up, you draw something up. 20 miles up the Jhelum till we come to Srinagar. Srinagar is the capital of Kashmir. Yes, Kashmir is now included. It is one of the union territories. The capital of Kashmir. What is the capital of Kashmir? Srinagar, the city of the sun. It is also called as the city of the sun. It's said that the sun first rises from Srinagar. That's why it's called the city of the sun. Lying like a jewel in the center of the valley. It is like a jewel in the center of the valley. It's so beautiful. Okay. Where is Srinagar? See here. It's in the center of Kashmir. It's called the city of the sun and it is the capital of Kashmir. Okay. About half the people living here are Muslims. The other half are Hindus. They appear good-natured and happy-go-lucky. So half of the population of Kashmir is Muslims and half are Hindus. But it doesn't look like that. It's a very happy atmosphere there. They all live very, very happily together. They all seem to be very happy and understanding and very, very good-natured. Okay? They are happy with their relationships with each other. The houses of the city are built of wood, mainly wood and bricks. Most of the houses have a very dilapidated. What is dilapidated? It is in ruins or it's very, very old. Okay? It's almost going to like fall down types, but they are strong. They are very dilapidated appearance, but they are very picturesque. That means very attractive, very beautiful. They are very, very old, but they are so beautiful in looking. It looks like it's a picture, as if you are seeing a picture. That's why you call this as picturesque. All through summer months, for the roofs of many of them are covered with flowers. Imagine living like this throughout your life, with roof having only flowers. See, it looks like an old kind of thing, but isn't it looking beautiful? Yes. Some have tulips. Now, the entire city is so beautifully covered with flowers. We will see so many flowers here. Tulips, some wild irises. Now, tulips are bell-shaped flowers. Okay, irises are kind of flowers growing in wet places. These are tulips, these are irises, and some other red poppies. Yes, can you see red poppies? So, these are tulips, if you can see. What is the shape? It's like a bell, okay? And then irises are flowers that grow in wet places. So, whenever you see the below of this, it will be completely wet. And these are red poppies. From early spring to late autumn, the flowers of Kashmir pass in a procession of beauty. So, when do you see the full bloomed Kashmir? From late autumn, when the autumn is just about to get over, you know, autumn season, how it is, all the leaves fall down, dry leaves are falling down and all that. Just when the autumn gets over, from then to the spring, okay, it's till then you can see the beautiful flowers all through. Alright, first of all comes the delicate pink almond blossom. Blossom is bloom. What is the first flower that blooms? It is the pink almond blossom. So, these flowers are the first ones to come up. Alright. As soon as it has shed its petals, the white cherry blossom and the pink and white apple blossom make their appearances. So, this is how the flowers come up. As soon as it has shed its petals, the white cherry blossom and the pink and white apple blossom make their appearance. Then comes the irises of royal purple, growing as high as a man's waist and filling the whole fields with their stately blooms. You can see the entire area are covered with these purple blooms, and they are this high. You would have seen a lot of pictures of people posing between these flowers, right? They stand in between and there are like lot of purple flowers. So after that, this is what comes out. Next appeared the Persian lilac. Okay, this is smaller than the English variety but grows in greater profusion. Now here the author is telling us what all flowers has he seen there. Okay, so then comes the Persian lilac. This is purple in color. When summer begins, the air is filled with the perfume of roses. Obviously, when we have only 4-5 roses around us, it smells so good. Imagine the whole valley of roses. Won't it be like heaven? Yes. And walls and gardens are covered with their clusters of crimson. These are the colors of roses that you can find there. Crimson is a darker form of red. Snow white, scarlet and creamy yellow flowers. These are the kind of roses that you can find there. These are the colorful roses that you find in Kashmir. Outside the city, now it's not only in the city that you'll find beauty. Outside the city in the fields, blue flax and red poppies grow among the wheat, and fields of yellow mustard stretch like dazzling cloth of gold. It looks like this mustard, when it grows, mustard is what? Rye. It comes out of these flowers. So when mustard grows, it grows like as if you've put a golden carpet on something. Isn't it beautiful? So imagine the colors that the nature has given us. Why don't we protect them? We have to, right? So see the beauty. They stretch like a dazzling cloth of gold, shining cloth of gold. What stretches? Yellow mustard. Okay. The Jhelum, what is Jhelum? That's the river that I was talking about. Flows through the city of Srinagar, and with its canals cuts it up into so many islands as to give it the name of the Venice of India. So in Venice, also in Italy, the water flows between the houses. Exactly like that, in Srinagar also, water flows in between the islands and in between the houses like this. That's why it's called the Venice of India. You can go boat riding from here. You know, you have boats going through here. Isn't it beautiful? As the sun melts the snow on the mountain tops, the snow water flows down into the valley and causes the river to rise and supply her life-giving waters to the fields and gardens. This is the technology of nature. So as the water from the snow falls, it falls where? To the islands, and it gives water to what? To the fields and the gardens. This is a natural process of God to give water to the fields and gardens on its own. There is no gardener who's coming and doing that. It is the mountains themselves who are doing that. And when it's winter, you can see snow again coming up. So this happens automatically throughout the life. Later in the season, when the river goes down again, the flowers droop and the grass becomes withered. So later, after some time, when the river goes down, the flowers droop and the grass becomes withered. The grass becomes withered, as means it spoils. But fruits then take the place of flowers. What happens? You can now see the fruits, and the shops are filled with luscious. What are the fruits that you can find? We saw the number of flowers in Kashmir. Yes, now we see the number of fruits. What are the fruits? Pears, peaches, nectarines and plums. And later on with rosy cheeked apples. Haven't you all heard? Kashmir ke apple, Kashmir ke apple. Yes, apples from Kashmir are so famous, so juicy, isn't it? Yes, it's very famous for apples. The people are then seen everywhere drying the fruit to be stored for winter use. What do? They take all the fruits and save it for winter. Okay, so there are a lot of fruits also that are popular in Kashmir. The floating gardens are unique. I'm sure you must have heard of the floating gardens. They are very, very unique, means very unusual and very, very special to us. One end of Dal Lake. Dal Lake is also very, very popular in Kashmir. This is the lake where you can find the floating garden. Is reserved specially for them. There is one end of Dal Lake specially reserved for the floating garden. As the name only suggests, is the garden that floats. It's on water. Their owners pay no rent for them, for they literally make the ground for the gardens themselves. There is nothing that you have to do here. They make the ground for themselves. First of all, they make a sort of platform for reeds and anchor it to stakes. Then they bring up mud from the bottom of the lake and place it in the little heaps on the platform. This is how they make the garden for the floating garden, okay, the base. Finally, they plant on them the seedlings of vegetables, mostly cucumber. The garden requires no watering and can easily be tended from the end of a board which extends from them. Very easy to handle this garden. You don't need to water them. They just have to pluck the fruits after they are grown fully. These vegetables are also dried for winter use, being cut up into strips and dried in the sun. So all these vegetables, what do? They cut up in the center, they dry it in the sun and use it in the winter season, because winter season does not see too much of fruits. When the season is over and we return once more to the plains, the fragrance of Kashmir's garden is still with us, and the memory of their beauty fills us with quiet joy. So like this, the author has taken us to the entire Kashmir. He's taken us to Dal Lake, he's taken everywhere, he's shown us the floating gardens and why do they do that, how do they do that. He's taken us to the snow-clad mountains, to all the flowers that were growing there, right? So he's taken us on a trip to Kashmir, a visual trip to Kashmir. The fragrance is the sweetness of the smell, okay, of what? Kashmir's garden. So like this, we finish going for a virtual tour to Kashmir, and write down the number of flowers that you saw, write down the number of fruits that we saw, and whatever grows in Kashmir in a notebook. You'll remember like that, okay. Let's solve the question answers. What does the peak of Nanga Parbat look like? The peak of Nanga Parbat looks like a huge sentinel pointing to the sky like a guard, isn't it? Which is the capital city of Kashmir? Very, very easy. Srinagar is the capital of Kashmir. Why do certain flowers grow only in Kashmir? The climate, every flower, fruit or grassland depends on the climate of the place, okay. So the climate and the soil in Kashmir helps only certain flowers to grow. Question 4. Why do the houses in Srinagar city look so beautiful basically in summer? The houses in Srinagar city look beautiful because the roof of many houses are covered with flowers. So imagine your house is covered with flowers in summer. So pretty, isn't it? Question 5. Describe the spring season of Kashmir. The early spring is the season when flowers start blooming. As soon as the spring sets in, what happens the first? The flowers start blooming. The flowers like pink almond blossom, white cherry blossom, pink and white apple blossom, royal purple irises, Persian lilacs blossom during spring season in Kashmir. All the answers are in the app. You can refer to them anytime. Underline and write all these flowers in your notebook so you will remember. Very important question for your exam, okay? And with this, we finished beautiful chapter, Kashmir, the Garden of India. I can already smell roses, I can already smell beautiful flower fragrance, and I can imagine myself in the snow-clad mountains. I hope all this finishes soon so we all can be free to travel and take care of our heritage. Thank you so much. I sign out, Kashish Chuk. I'll see you soon with the next chapter. Bye-bye.